Tonight's big story starts with a viewer question that we'll get to in a moment, but a lot of you sent in messages and condolences after earlier this week we reported that 2 Portland Public School students had died of suspected fentanyl overdoses. The Oregonian reports they went to McDaniel High School. Investigators think they took pills like these here on the top left, the blue so-called M30s. Multnomah County tweeted out this graphic earlier today. These, they say, are common counterfeit pills. They're often sold with the promise of getting high or relieving anxiety, but secretly they're laced with the cheaper, stronger, and deadlier drug, fentanyl. Experts say it's happening more and more. After watching Tuesday's story, Pandemic Duck tweeted, "Since we like solutions, maybe a piece on what is Narcan and how can you get it?" Thank you very much. That is a great idea. Here's Maggie Vespa.
It was 100% fentanyl with carfentanil, and he was killed instantly.
Amid a devastating surge in overdoses and deaths, experts are urging the public to do everything they can to avoid counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl, the deadly synthetic opioid that killed Michelle Eastro's son, Keaton, in 2020.
He was a great kid. He served in the Marine Corps.
Police believe fentanyl also killed 2 Portland Public School students this week. The Oregon Poison Center putting out a public warning Thursday, urging Oregonians to only take drugs prescribed by a doctor or pharmacist and to talk to their kids about addiction and the dangers of drug use. They're also urging Oregonians to brush up on Narcan.
What is Narcan?
Our sources, Ben Bayamont and Jackson Mitchell with Multnomah County's Harm Reduction Program, and Dr. Robert Hendrickson, medical director for the Oregon Poison Center.
Narcan or naloxone is an agent that reverses an opioid overdose. It can be given several different ways. It can be an injection in the hospital setting, but it's also available as an intranasal spray.
The nasal spray, the one any member of the public can buy and use, is the one all 3 men want you to know about, especially given that stats show fentanyl deaths in Multnomah County seem to have doubled between 2020 and 2021.
Would Narcan work in a situation where someone has ingested fentanyl?
And fentanyl is more potent than a lot of the other opioids on the market, oxycodone or morphine or heroin. However, we do expect naloxone or Narcan to work for fentanyl.
Our experts added anyone can get Narcan by walking into a pharmacy. You don't need a prescription, and the pharmacist will even train you on how to use it. Bayamont wanted to prove how easy it is.
I actually went to a local Fred Meyer pharmacy this morning just to try out the process myself. It did take a little bit of time just because the pharmacy was so busy, but everyone was super helpful. I was able to get it in about 20 minutes. I was able to get 2 doses of generic nasal brand Narcan from the pharmacy this morning.
If your insurance doesn't cover Narcan, it's about $90 for 2 doses. All 3 experts recommend most people have Narcan on hand. That goes double, they say, for anyone with loved ones who struggle with addiction or even just use opioid painkillers.
Even though you don't know someone, you could potentially come upon someone who has an opioid overdose.
Experts say if you come upon someone who you suspect has overdosed on opioids, call 911 first, and then unless the operator tells you otherwise, go ahead and administer that nasal spray. And common overdose symptoms include unconsciousness, blue lips and fingertips, and shallow breathing. Pat.
And one of the experts, Maggie, that you talked to is a parent. He added something that we wanted to play.
Right, exactly, because we're talking about this week because those 2 Portland Public School students passed away. It was a heartbreaking story. It obviously still is. Jackson Mitchell with the county's Harm Reduction Program, that really hit home for him. He's the parent of a teenager, and he talks to his teen about drug use.
I really have found one of the most effective ways to approach those conversations is really emphasizing the aspect of, I am giving you information that is accurate so you don't have to go to other sources. And I want you to have all the information that you need to be empowered to be a good friend, because you may decide not to use drugs. You may decide that that is not the option for you. And I support that and I hope that for you. But in the event that that were to change, I would like you to know how to be as safe as you can be in those situations. And I'd also like you to know how to provide good information to your friends and respond if one of your peers were in a situation where they were unsafe due to drug use.
Again, that was Jackson Mitchell with Multnomah County's Harm Reduction Program.
All right. Thank you, Maggie.